How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie review. I would say this is the granddaddy of them all. If you could only read one book, I would say to read this book. I feel that strongly about it. It's about how to deal with people. And we all have to deal with people regardless of our occupation. So I would say it's a good book for everybody. I am a realtor, and so it's basically promoted as a sales book. I first read this book about 20 years ago at an open house that I was doing. Wasn't that many people going. I just remember I was sitting in a chair reading the book. And I thought it was really good. It didn't necessarily make that much of an impact on me until I read it over and over again. And I would say over the course of my career, I've probably read the book at least 12 times. I also have the audiobook, and I actually took a Dale Carnegie class. Now, all this has not made me a sales expert by any means, but it certainly has helped. And I know that if I don't read it for a certain period of time, I completely forget the whole thing. So it's important to review it on a regular basis. I have a description to both the book and the audiobook in the description. Like I said, the book is about dealing with people. And some of the points that I do remember from the book, I just read it recently so I could do this review, is number one, people like to feel important. So if you could make the other person feel important, that'll go a long way to having them like you. Also, people like to be appreciated. So appreciate someone. Don't just flatter them, but find something that you can really appreciate them for and tell them that. That'll make them feel good. And don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Criticizing people is useless, the book points out, because people do not blame themselves for anything. They'll say it's circumstances or it was this and that. And Dale Carnegie points out some past famous criminals of the past who didn't blame themselves for anything. So if they don't blame themselves for anything, how can normal, everyday people blame themselves? There is a story in the book that had a big impact on me. In fact, I never forget the story, even if it's been a long time since I read the book. And the story is about how a great man shows his greatness by the way he treats little men. The story goes like this. There was a famous airline test pilot that was flying an older plane. And in midair, the engine stopped and he had to do an emergency landing, crashing the plane, ruining it. He came out okay, nothing was wrong with him, but it ruined a very expensive plane. He suspected that it was probably the wrong fuel was put into the plane, and he goes to check it and sees that it was. This is the mechanic's fault. He goes over to the mechanic, and the mechanic is grief-stricken. He imagines the tongue lashing he's going to get from this airline pilot. The pilot comes over to the mechanic and just puts his arm around him and says, "Because I am sure you will never make this mistake again. I want you to service my F-51 tomorrow." The last point from the book that I want to make is that to make a good impression on people, you should smile. So when you smile, other people smile. It makes them happy and it makes you happy. The best way to get yourself in a good mood is to smile. You see, action and feeling tend to go together. The very act of acting happy and smiling will then make you happy. And when you're happy, you deal with people better. If you like this video, and how could you not? Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next time.